Okay, well, it looks like we're live. Yes, we are. All right, welcome everybody. I'm going to try something new. I've got a ton of crap here that I am going to show off here. There's 14 cameras. All of them are the Ubiquiti G5 Turret Ultras. There's another huge box over here next to me, which are the just one UNVR and a bunch of hard drives, I believe. So, not a whole lot planned here, but mostly just, earlier this morning, Ubiquiti announced 4.0 of UniFi Protect, and I was getting ready to stage all of this for an upcoming job. So I figured, hey, why not bring you all along for the ride? Anybody who wants to join, feel free to drop your questions in the chat. I do have it open here in front of me, so hopefully I'll be able to keep up with that while doing the install here. But sort of a soup to nuts, start to finish. It's literally still in the box from Ubiquiti. I haven't even taken most of this out yet. And, it's not going to be a fast stream. It's not going to be one of my usual videos where things are moving and grooving with music in the background. But, let's see how it goes. And let me know who's here, where you're from. And like I said, I'll keep an eye on the comments down here below. How do I pop this out? Right. Okay, cool. All right, without further ado, I suppose, let's get started. I've got my customary seltzer because I'm a hardcore seltzer drinker, but I'm not going to open that just yet. First, let's get the cameras unpacked so that we can have a little bit of a staging area. The job that I'm doing in the next couple of days is for a community center and is a multi-phase project. And the reason why I say multi-phase is because they've got grants from the government for security. And I don't know if anybody has ever worked with grants before, but I'm here to tell you it's a royal pain in the ass. The reason for this is because there's lots of extremely specific rules. Don't need that. Whew, didn't hit the camera. There's lots of extremely specific rules and lots of extremely detailed little annoying things that have to be kept to without screwing them up. And a lot of times you'll have things that take a long time to get decided, and the project goes on for a very long time. And then all of a sudden, oh, wait a minute, it has to be done by the end of this week. And so it's all hands on deck, go, 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 go. And the reason why I'm pre-staging and not, just setting it up. First of all, I like to pre-stage, but on a project like this, it's something that I probably would just go and do it on the fly because it doesn't have to be perfect. They just have to be installed because the deadline for this project is essentially for the government grant side that the cameras all have to be installed and working, but it doesn't have to be perfect because they're not opening the venue for like another 6 months. And there's more cameras that are going to be coming in. The Wi-Fi still has to be put in. The network is in place, but it's not entirely set up yet as well. So essentially, the cameras, don't have to be 100% perfect. And we're going to continue this project on for the next couple of months as we continue, or as they continue with renovations. And as we get closer to the actual opening date, then we'll refine everything and finalize everything and make sure it's all doing what it's supposed to be doing. That being said, sometimes it helps to do things in advance. And a lot of times in the past with Ubiquiti, you would have issues with, reliability. Now, thankfully, that doesn't seem to be an issue very often anymore. Usually, if it is, you can just reboot and that tends to take care of it. So I know I'm rambling a little bit, but I am unpacking everything here. So deal with it. Let's just do a quick unboxing on one of these cameras. As you can see, I already did an unboxing on that one. But just for anybody who hasn't seen these yet, again, this is a full 14 camera setup for a community center. And these are the Ubiquiti G5 Turret Ultras. So you get the box open and it's got this nice little laid out storage area here. And no matter how many times I do this, oh, that one, it went right. I very often end up pulling it out upside down, not just for Ubiquiti, for Anchor cameras and other stuff, not cameras, Anchor batteries and stuff as well. So this is a very nice package. Really interesting how they engineered this, and it holds everything together. You get kind of an exploded view over like that. And let's just open this up. So inside here, kind of makes me feel like the bay of the space shuttle for space enthusiasts there. You've got the G5 itself, the G5 Turret Ultra itself right here. And this is an interesting one because, to my knowledge, I think it's the first time that they're actually doing a turret that is adjustable like this. Certainly the first time in a long time, but possibly also the first time ever for these, but I can double check that later. But these are very popular. These are the type of cameras that you're going to see if you go into a Costco or you go into a, an Amazon and you say, okay, 6, 8, 10, 12, 16 camera array, especially for the older ones. The coax ones were all like this. And nowadays they have converted them to Ethernet, but they're not as good as these as far as a managed system goes. And so this just came out. This was showed off to some of us who were at the Ubiquiti World Conference in Chicago, and then I understand again at the other ones that they had throughout the world. But if you haven't seen it yet, this is the G5 Turret Ultra. You've got a paper over the front of it here that is, keeping it clean, keeping it safe. This is the back of it. It's going to screw onto the mounting plate, which I'll show in a minute. And then you've got a tail. And the end of this tail is your Ethernet connection, and that's where it plugs in. So you're going to be able to mount it, plug this in through the wall, plug it into your cable. That's going to run back to your rack, and it's much easier to mount there because you don't have to worry about cramming everything into the mount or into the base behind it, or worrying about waterproofing the cable itself because the cable is going to be inside the wall and not at the actual camera. Inside there, we've got some cardboard pieces which you should take out, which are there to keep it safe during transport. And you can see now it spins much easier. And when you take the back of it, which is held together with this nicely engineered setup here, you're going to have a couple of different parts here. One, mounting plate, which Ubiquiti has, and very nice of them to include a little level in here. That's always helpful. Then you've got the metal mounting bracket, and pop this off here. This is the back of it, the part that will be touching the wall, and that is the front of it over there. So just a quick walkthrough on the different parts of the camera here. And I am going to be taking these all out and sort of unpacking them just so that I can get them all plugged into the system, but probably should get to work on the UNVR Pro just so that it has time to do the updates and everything. Over here, you've got a couple of extra washers and screws and the security key and so on. So I'm just going to leave those in here so that they don't get lost in case we end up needing them. This calls it the connector cover, what you're going to want. So all good things. All right, what did I do with that box? Here we go. Let's switch over to the NVR because I probably should have started there and start walking through getting that set up and see if we notice anything that's different. And, let's see how many people are on the stream over here. I see. Oh, we got a couple people in there. Didn't expect too many people on this one because this is the first time I'm doing a live stream of this caliber before, or of this type. Previously, my live streams have been more produced and more interviews and talking heads and things like that. So let me just get this open here. All right, in this box, we have some extra goodies that I forgot about were in here. This is the viewport. If you haven't seen one of these, this is what gives you the ability to do a video wall where you have all of the different tiles of the cameras on a screen and have that running. Other people use an Apple TV or other things for that. Then I also have in here something that I'm not going to be able to set up today, but I should do a separate video on this, is the Pro Max 24 PoE. And the reason I'm not going to be able to set that up is because I am not going to be adopting this into my network. I'm going to adopt it into their network. But the UNVR Pro is managed by itself. So all I have to do is give it a network cable, plug it into my rack, which I'll do in a few, and we'll be good to go for that. So let's get that out. This sucker's heavy. Okay. Whew. Anybody seen one of these before? These are UniFi NVR Pro, UNVR Pro. Let's get this open here. This is the big one. So it's got what you normally would see with the NVR Pro, with the regular NVR, is just one stack. This is a double stack. Again, questions, comments, say hello in the comments where you're from. Let me know. I'll keep an eye on them over here. And we'll see how this goes. All right, so here's your first box that comes out. This is generally the mounting gear. So in here, you've got your rack nuts. Anybody who's never seen this before, it's really something that makes my OCD very happy. You can see that a little bit there. And you've got the wings on the side as well. Now note, this is a double size because it is much bigger. So really hefty, solid piece of metal. And your power cable. Power cable I will need. The rest of this I'm not going to need until we do the actual install. So let's make sure that doesn't get lost. Otherwise, I'm going to have a really hard time when we go to install this for real. Okay. Whoops. We got our sticker and documentation. So drop that back in the box. I'm actually going to bring this down here because otherwise I'm not going to be able to get this sucker out. Come on. Lego. There we go. Whew. Goodness. Hard doing this when you're not in cramped spaces. I got to get a bigger studio. I actually have a different table, which is a rising sit-stand workbench from Husky from Home Depot that I had planned to put together before I started this stream. And I got a last-minute emergency call from a client who's local, so I ran out there and then came back and wolfed out my lunch and didn't have time to build that so that I would have a better setup for this. So we're on the old desk, and that's fine. All right, let's get this open. Somewhere there's a, oh, it's on the end. It's on the other side. There's a lip. Okay. Pull this off. Feel like a magician. Ta-da! And then we have lots of hard drive bays. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hard drive bays on the front. And of course, your connection to the network and your screen on this side. And the gigabit connection as well. Or is that a 2.5? Oh, it's a 10 gig connection on the front. And then on the back, you've got your fans, your power, and your redundant power. All right. Ouch. Don't hurt your fingers. All right, let's get some power going to this. Conveniently, there is a power outlet behind me. So I can just rope this around like so. And have it out of the way. Oh, hello. Schnurkel UK says, I'm deep in the UniFi network stack and I'm interested in moving from Ring cameras to UniFi. This should be a good intro. Yeah, so one of the major things that I would say, the major differences between the two is that with all of the wired cameras from Ubiquiti, it's going to be much lower latency. And also all of the storage is local. So if you have a video wall, you're going to be able to see it with almost like a second, maybe sub-second latency. Latency is the amount of time that it takes from the activity happening, person walking in front of your camera, for example, to the moment in which you can see it on your device, whether it's your video wall. I pointed this way because I have my video wall over there. But essentially, the amount of time between when the event takes place to when you're able to see it on your device, whether it's the video wall or your phone or your computer. And you're also going to get a lot more reliability because it doesn't have to go to the internet and then back. It's just streaming locally on your network. I think Ring might be able to do that as well, but I'm not 100% sure. And, the Ring cameras are really solid quality, but you're going to get a lot more selection, a lot more options, and a lot more capabilities with these cameras than you will with them. And especially with the 4.0 version of Protect, which they just announced this morning, there are a lot of new features that you are going to be able to use, not only compared to the Ring cameras, but compared to themselves in the past, whereas they rebuilt the internal, they have a term for it, I forget off the top of my head, but they rebuilt the rendering engine for the cameras and the core system inside, so you're going to be able to get more cameras on per device. Now, if you're just doing a home network and you only have 5-10 cameras, you do not need this beefy boy, the NVR Pro. The regular NVR will be fine, but you do need an NVR from Ubiquiti. They don't work with other cameras. It's like saying you can't use a Wise camera with the Ring platform, for example. So, all right, this is plugged in, and show you all over here. The screen has come on. So let me grab a network cable, which is something I probably should have done before I started this. Nope, that's a 1 foot. That's not going to help. I'm going to go behind the camera here to my network rack and open this up and grab a network cable so that we can get this connected and running for all of you. Question is where I have it. Sorry about this. Should have done that beforehand. I have one on the other side of the curtain, I believe. All right, hang tight with me. I don't have like a hold music, but I'm going to go pay no attention to the man on the other side of the curtain over here, and I'm going to find a cable that we can use with this. Because normally I have all of my cables hidden away in the rack. This should work. I like to keep a pretty tight rack as much as possible, keep organized. So the other side of this curtain is the rest of my garage, and I'm in the middle of getting organized. So things are a little messy back there. So I have a curtain to hide it all from you. All right, let's see what you replied. I do like to ring cameras, but it only records when motion is detected. I assume UniFi allows me to scrub specific date time to check footage when motion may have not been detected. Thanks for the info. Yes, that's correct. So you can have the choice. You can choose if you only want to record when motion is detected. And the reason why people like to do that is it doesn't take up as much hard drive space. So with one hard drive, you're going to be able to, with one hard drive, it's going to last much longer for how much space you have. So if you have an 8 terabyte drive, which is usually what we get with these, for example, it's going to be able to handle 30 days, 90 days possibly with, 5, 10 cameras. If you're doing a larger install like this, that's why you want all the drives like we have on this one, because you're going to be able to hold a lot more information. Now with the continuous recording, it does exactly that. It records continuously onto the hard drives that are in the unit. And when you have this many hard drives, you also have the ability of doing a RAID format for your hard drives. And so if one of the hard drives gets corrupted, then you are going to be able to still recover the footage, and it'll actually fix the hard drive for you. And then you will be able to, actually, you know what? I'm not going to plug it into there. I'm going to plug it directly into my computer because it's self-hosted. Should have thought of that before. Sorry about that. Anyway, with a RAID setup, your footage is much safer because it's going to be able to recover the drives for you, and you won't have to worry about losing any of your footage there. Okay, let's get this plugged in to my adapter. And there's multiple ways that you can adopt this, by the way. You can do it through the computer, or you can even do it on your phone, which may actually come across better on a camera. So let's see if I find something, if I find a way to do this on my phone. Yes, so there you go. New device found on the mobile app. Sorry, there's a lot of reflection over there. And so I can just go in here and set up with the UniFi app. Now, this is just the UniFi app on iOS. You can do it on Android as well. And, I do not want to pair it to that site. So let's we're going to give it its own site because it is its own cloud controller. And you don't need the rest of the Ubiquiti stack for the network and everything to manage just this, although I do recommend it even for home. It's what I have running here because it's much better Wi-Fi management, it's much better network management, and if you are having your cameras spread out throughout the house, you're going to want them hardwired, and the best way to do that is through the Ubiquiti, either the UDM Pro, UDM Pro, or UDM SE, as well as the UDM Pro Max, and that will give you the ability to manage the network that your cameras are connecting to and be able to control them from wherever and view them remotely and so on. All right, let's get this connected here before I get more distracted. All righty, let's wait for my computer to recognize that it's connected to something else. Let's turn off Wi-Fi over here. I'm going to actually bring my computer around this way and try to show you. Let's see how this shows up. There you go. Yeah, I think you can see pretty well. Maybe move that closer. All right, so 192.168.0.182. Let's try this. 192.168.0.1. Nothing. It's possible I'm doing this wrong. Usually I do it from my phone because honestly it's much easier. And connected directly to here. Oh, it's a 0. Yeah, 0 dot. Come on, computer. 0.1. That should work. Maybe this is why they recommend you do it on your computer. Oh, it would help if I plugged it in all the way. Good job. Now the light is lighting up, and that's why it doesn't show up. So I advise you to make sure that you have your cable plugged in. Okay, is this still 0.1? Let's check. Thinking. Should be. You said, I use separate management networks for home infrastructure. I assume all the cameras in NVR allow you to specify a management VLAN and IP the same as the network devices. When you're using Ubiquiti equipment for the network, yes, of course you can do that. As far as this is just going to work on whatever you plug it into. This is its own cloud console, so it doesn't specifically need to have its own management separate from this. Excuse me, I'm just going to drink a little bit here. It's like a one-on-one call with you. If only I could have you show up on the screen here next time. Okay, why is this not showing up here? I think it wants me to use the app, so let's try that. Opening up the UniFi Protect app, and it says new device set found, which is what I showed you before. So we're just going to set it up with the app because it doesn't like me, apparently. I'm sure I'm going to have other people watching this later and be like, oh, you can't do it through the computer because of X, Y, and Z. So maybe that's the case. Come on. This is weird. So sometimes, this is why you say live demos are always difficult. Sometimes it doesn't work the way you expect it to. So let's try this again. Okay, set up with UniFi app. Yes, I would like to do that. So then it throws me into the UniFi app, which I'm fine with. I'm not picking it up. Okay, now I'm trying that screen. Here we go. Okay, just had to restart my UniFi app on my phone. So like many things in tech, sometimes a reboot solves it. I'm just going to call this YouTube NVR Pro because, again, it's just staged. It doesn't have to be perfect. So I'll show you in a second what this looks like. And so you've got this interface here where you put in the name, you type it out. You can choose if you want analytics and improvements. You don't have to, you can. Okay, so now it says that it cannot reach the internet. So I'm going to plug it into my network here so that it can get updates. And actually, I'm going to see if I can plug it directly into my router without getting the configuration. Let's see what happens. Should all be on DHCP, so it really should not be an issue, but you never know with these things. Tech can be funny sometimes. All right, well, I'm going to switch the Wi-Fi back on my laptop so that I can see your comments better. That over here. Okie dokie. All right, looks like that has internet connected, as you can see here on the phone. And I'm going to hit next. You can set it up offline, but because this is a video that is highlighting UniFi 4.0 or UniFi Protect 4.0, probably should update it to 4.0. Okay, the next step here is please install your hard drives. It lists a separate slot for all of those. Once installed, please allow several minutes for your drives to be discovered. So I'm going to head over to my box here. I'm just going to grab one because, quite frankly, we're not doing the full setup right now, and I don't want to waste anybody's time. This is slow going enough as it is. So this is a drive that I bought from Ubiquiti. It has a little Ubiquiti logo on there. This is a 8 terabyte. You don't have to use these. You can use the, the Western Digital purple drives as well. And the reason why I say that you can use the Western Digital purple drives is because this is a Western Digital purple drive that you get directly from Ubiquiti. So the purple drives are certified for NVR specifically. And the reason why that's important is because they're very fast and because they're constantly running and recording and rewriting and deleting and rewriting and so on and so forth. What I will often do when I buy these, if you're buying multiple hard drives from Ubiquiti, they do give you a discount if you buy a couple of them at a time when you buy it, especially with the NVR. That being said, occasionally there's a Western Digital sale on Amazon or from a different retailer, and you can find really good deals on these as long as they are new and not used. You don't generally want used because hard drives can be finicky things. They are physical spinning disks after all. That being said, if you do get them cheaper, you can get them from somewhere else, and sometimes it does have a little bit of an issue. I think I'm using a Seagate in one of my other NVRs here, and it took 24 hours to repair the drive, so I wasn't able to start using it right away, but it did take it, and it's been working great ever since. So let me walk you through here. Let's see if I can show you the bay here. This is drive bay number 1, and so this just pops right out. We have a sticker here, which we can take off because we don't need that. And essentially, this is the bay itself, and very nice of them. They've printed instructions on there on both sides actually, for how you can mount, for how you can mount the drive. Now, for those who have been doing IT and computers for a long time, there are some drives that you have to screw in, which is why drives have screw holes. These are similar to the Dell computers where you just have to slot it in. So there's little points on the sides here with protrusions to be able to hook in. And so you want to put the side that has the connectors facing downward or facing out. And then I usually just pop in one side here like so. And then, whoops. And then the other side, I just click in. Perfect, easy peasy. It might take you a couple tries. I've done this 100 times, so I think I've gotten, or I'd like to hope I've gotten this pretty much down pat, but you saw how easy that went in. Then I'm just going to slide it in here. I should probably lower this down a little bit so you can get a better view of the, go over there, leaning tower of cameras. Okay, so I'm just going to slot that in like that and go back to our app, which hopefully didn't disconnect. It says, please install your hard drives. So I put one in and we'll hit next. Now it says setting up UniFi OS. Setup complete. Huzzah! So now I'm going to go over to the Protect app, UniFi Protect app. And in my list here is YouTube NVR Pro. And I am connecting directly to it. And now it's telling me that the console is updating. I'm going to try and get it on this screen, however, because it's going to be much easier to see. Yep, here we go, YouTube NVR Pro. So now I don't have to worry about it on my phone, but you'll be able to see on the screen here that it is, in fact, how can I do this so that you can see best? Let me close the shade here so that it's easier to see without as much glare. One of the things that I love about my studio is that I have a big window right there. It gives me lots of natural light. One of the things that I don't like so much about the studio is I have a big window and sometimes it glares on things. While that's updating, I'm actually going to jump into StreamYard here. This is my first time using StreamYard, so bear with me on this. I'm going to try and log in and see if I can't just show you the screen on the actual stream, which would be pretty cool. So let's see here. Enter Studio. Let's hope this doesn't create some kind of freak loop. And by that, I mean screeching microphone sound. I'm going to mute this so that it doesn't stop cam because you don't need to see that. And I will just call this laptop. Enter Studio. And now, laptop, add to stage, and what do I do with said laptop? Oh, hold on, I don't want to use the laptop screen. I want to present my screen, share screen, and I may have to restart Chrome because it didn't have permission to share screen because I don't usually use this device for this. But let's try and see what happens. Share. Hey, I didn't have to restart Chrome. Okay, so now without me having to show you the screen and worry about the glare issues, you can actually see what's happening on the screen in real time as it's happening. And I'm actually going to even, whoops, that's the wrong one. There we go. So now you can see the whole screen and I'm just a little guy on the corner there. And that's what's happening. The console is updating. So let's let that update. Do 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 do. Do do do. This looks good. A bunch of people on the stream. Still got Schnuckle UK. I imagine you're from the UK. I hope I'm pronouncing your username correctly. Who else is on the stream? We've got a bunch of people here. Feel free to drop a comment in the comments and let me know where you're from. Any questions you have. I have been playing with UniFi 4.0, UniFi Protect 4.0 for a little while because I have it on my system over in alpha. So I'm a little bit familiar with it. I wouldn't say I'm an expert in it, but you know, nobody's an expert given that it technically came out this morning. So Trey, how's it going? Got a big wave from you also over in the UK, if I'm not mistaken. Thanks for joining the stream here. Now I got to return the favor and join one of your Twitch streams that you've been doing, but I think that your stuff is probably going to go over my head. So you might have me beat there, given that I'm not much of a programmer. At least I hope that's the same Trey. Could be a different one. In which case, my comment makes no sense at all. No, that looks like the right one. I think I can actually see the comments over on this screen. Yes, I can. There you are. All right, I'll give you a wave back. Wave. Nope, that was not the... I tried to do the search and that didn't work. Okay, and now you get a wave. There we go. All right, like I said, this is my first time doing a YouTube live stream, so bear with me here. I'm trying. Trey says, yeah, about to head to bed, but saw you on stream, so I had to pop in. Thank you so much, and you know, sleep well, and I will have to try and catch one of your streams as long as they're at a time that I'm actually online as well. All right, so good night to Trey. Thanks for coming. Thank you for the good wishes, and we'll see you again soon, and see you on Twitter as well. All right, heading over back into the UniFi OS stream, so or screen rather. This is still showing up. Yes, okay, good. So you'll see there's a couple of things here. What we are looking at right now is on the OS settings tab. And this is kind of the overview space of where you have everything relating to the management of the console, including the individual apps. So the way that Ubiquiti works is you've got the console operating system, the console OS, and that is in charge of managing the admins for it, the settings for the network, storage information about things like that, as well as managing the updates. So there's two things that we can kick off here. One is the UniFi OS update, which you'll see right now is at 3.0.16, and we can update that. And then Protect also wants to be able to update from 2.6.17 to 4.0.21. 4.0.21 being the most recent one that came out this morning. So just you know, for your own use cases, if you don't like surprises, then you can turn off auto update. If you do like surprises and have it updating by itself, you can turn on the auto update. In the past, there are folks who refuse completely and say that it's best practice, you should not turn on auto update, because there was a time that Ubiquiti was having some reliability issues with their firmware updates and some gear that if you didn't have access to it right, like in your house or in your office, that you weren't next to it all the time, you don't want to take the risk of it getting bricked during an update. So that's why they say not to turn that on. But if you like to live on the edge and you like the best features all the time, then definitely turn on auto update. If you really like to live on the edge, then you can go into the release candidate and early access channels. Alpha is only for special testers like myself. And some of the other YouTubers that you'll see. Shout out to them who got their videos out even faster than I did this stream, fully produced and researched and talking about the new OS. Go and check them out. You've got, I'm not going to be able to show you my that tab. Can I? I can show you this tab. So let's just search here, UniFi Protect 4.0, and you can see some of our friends, I imagine, going to show up right here. So here's the video from UniFi showing it off this morning, and then you've got Mac Telecom Networks, who's one of my favorites, has his video out right away. Then you got Crosstalk Solutions has his video out shortly after that, and then DPC Technology also got his video out. And with the exception of Crosstalk, I was actually hanging out with both of these guys at the Ubiquiti World Conference. Hopefully we'll get Crosstalk there in the future, and I'll be able to meet him in person. I have learned so much of what I do and what I have done and been able to do on Ubiquiti from those guys, so definitely go and check out their channels over there. Back over to here, I should probably kick off the updates just because they do take a little while, and you know, this is a live stream and I don't want it to go all day, so let's see here. All right, hope my audio sounds good. I didn't have a whole lot of time to test this before because I knew I wanted to go live and I knew I had this whole stack, but I didn't. Usually I do much more produced setups. I've got the real camera and the full lighting gear and whatnot, but this is more of a on-the-fly one. So I'll stop apologizing now. You're here, you're enjoying it, I hope. And like I said, anybody else who's on the stream, pop in, say hello, and in the comments, and let me know where you're from and if you have any questions. see if I have any other goodies in this box that we haven't talked about yet. One of the things that Ubiquiti has been doing for a little while now is when you buy a NVR or an NVR Pro, I believe, you do get a G4 last generation camera for free. This is the G4 Pro. This is actually a very good camera, even though it's last generation. And they are, I guess, trying to get rid of the inventory or something. But you get, I bought 14 cameras, but I got the 15th one for free. So definitely going to be putting this up. And if you want Ubiquiti's best cameras, then you are going to want to look at the AI line. And while this is updating, I can just show you, store.ui.com, I think it is. Let's see here. Yep. Share this tab instead. Yes, I'm visiting from the United States. So over on the camera side, the G4 Pro is what I was just showing you. The G5 Pro is the new version of that. And then if you're looking for the AI features, which has facial recognition, etc., you've got the AI Bullet and the AI Pro. This is their, I believe, their biggest one that they've got right now. This is full 4K, 8 megapixel resolution, 3x optical zoom, which is amazing, especially if you're trying to cover a larger area and want to zoom in on it. The 82-foot IR night vision is fantastic, and you are able to see very clearly at night at a further distance than most off-the-shelf or consumer-level cameras. So if you're moving over from Ring, I think if you get one of these, you'll definitely be shocked by how much you can see late at night. It's all PoE powered, of course, and a far-field microphone array, and it is weatherproof. And it does come in black or white if you want the black aesthetic or the white aesthetic. These are all white because they only come in white, but I generally prefer the black. I think it's a much sleeker, sexier look, and a little bit more menacing. I like my cameras to look beefy and scary, and people look at those and go, ooh, he's serious about security. I'm not going to touch his house. So that's those. But the ones that we are working with today, just while this is updating, are the G5 Turret Ultra, which is right here. Let's just check on this. This is still updating. Okay, there we go. So that seems to have updated. And did it do this at the same time? Maybe. It did not. So let's give this a second to realize that it still needs to update that, and then we'll kick that off. Let me just double check what's going on here. Yeah, thank you, Trey, for retweeting my tweet. If you're on Twitter, I'm Mr. J Nolan. Go and check me out. Appreciate it. All right, let's get this updated. This still says up to date, so I'm going to refresh this. As I was saying before, there are, all right, I will continue updating this to the final version. You have to sometimes update in steps because of the way that they do the architecture here. Behind the scenes, some things have to be done incrementally, and some things you can just jump forward in larger increments. What I was saying before about this being the OS, which manages everything, then you have individual apps. So if this were a network device, and I can switch back over. Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't even sharing this tab. If I switch back over to the store, I'll show you what I talk about when I say the networking devices is the Dream Machine Pro Max, Dream Machine Pro, or the Dream Machine Special Edition. They also have Dream Wall, UniFi Express, Dream Router. All of these are able to run almost all of the apps. These three, the Dream Machine Pro, Max, and Special Edition, can all run all of the apps. And what I mean by apps is Network, Protect, Access, and I feel like I'm forgetting one. Wi-Fi is under Network, Protect, Access, and somebody in the comments help me out. What am I missing here? I will tell you what they all are. 1 second here. Talk. Network, Protect, Access, Talk. Connect is also there. That's their screen management software. So if you want to have like a advertising screen with menus for a store or advertisements in your lobby, you can do that through Connect. And then there's also another app that they have here called Interspace, which is their design platform. And I'll show you what this means, what this looks like on mine. Yeah, I can share this. Nothing that I don't want to share on this tab. This is my personal at-home UDM Pro SE. And so you can see I've got Network and Talk installed. I don't have Protect installed because I have my own NVR Pro that's in over here. So I have Protect running on that. And then Access I'm going to be installing shortly because I'm going to be doing some testing on the Access platform and showing that off as well. And maybe I'll even do another live setup on that. And then Connect at some point I probably should play around with, but I don't have that set up right now. So that's those. And so on the console screen, which you'll see when it finishes updating here, you have the ability to install all of those and to manage them and to update them. And then when you go into Protect itself, you will click on this other tab. Then you're going to be able to see the settings specifically for managing the cameras and what that all looks like, which again, we'll be able to do as soon as this finishes updating. While that's happening, I should probably unbox the rest of those. Just check over the comments here. Audio is good, thank you. Oh, you agree black definitely looks the best. I think I have one of the black cameras over here that I can show you that I also haven't installed yet for another project. Maybe without knocking all of my stuff over. Let's see. Let's grab both of these. Some other things that I can show off. This is the G5 Dome Ultra. Just while that is updating here. And nope, making up his mind. This is the sister or brother to the G5 turrets, which we're installing now. And the thing that I like about this, it just came out, but I got to show you this. This thing is tiny. This is an indoor camera, and it's meant to be used in spaces where you do not have a lot of space and you would like it to be hidden. Look how tiny this thing is. It's an itty bitty little dome camera, and the dome pops off, and you've got the camera on the inside. And actually, the way that they do this is that they move some of the power, some of the equipment into this dongle here, which is hard to do when I'm holding it out like that. And your Ethernet cable plugs into this thing, which is in the wall, similar to the turret. And then the rest of this goes into the wall with it. And then this is able to just sit affixed on your ceiling or in wall. And it's just super duper tiny. So I wanted to show that because they came out at the same time. Both of these cameras are highly in demand right now. And if you see them in stock and you do want them, then you should definitely buy them. Let's see what's happening here. It says up to date. It's a liar because it's only at 2.942. Give it another couple of seconds and it will realize that it's lying to us and allow us to update it. In the meantime, this is the AI Pro. And the reason why I want to show you this is because we were just talking about it. Oh, look, the update shows up. Let's hit that. So that starts. These are sexy cameras. I love how they do the exploded camera view. So you can see the camera and then the different parts all for mounting. But just to give you an idea of how big this thing is, this is a beefy piece of equipment. And here's my standard US size soda can next to it. Basically, give you an idea of how much bigger it is than just the can. Not quite, almost as tall here. The can's a little tiny bit taller, but fatter. Really substantial piece of equipment. Makes you gives off the idea or the look that you are very serious about security. So I have that in the front of my house, and people walk by and they're like, "Ooh, what's that?" So I used to have the G5, which is the latest bullet that they have that's not an AI, and that had something called a IR extender on it with a floodlight. And so that thing, when people would walk by, that would light up and be really bright. And then people were like, "Oh, wow, that looks amazing." Or it would just scare them, which is also works for me. You have the UDR. I think it's limited to how many apps you can install. Yeah, so if I remember correctly, the UDR is able to do network and protect. It can, it can run only 2 apps at a time. I would revisit that limitation because there have been some updates to the system. I think now it's 3 apps, if I remember, that you can run at the same time. But you are limited in the amount of cameras that you can run on that as well. So if you're looking to switch over, then make sure that you take a look at those limitations and that you've got those covered. All right. What is happening here? Protect is up to date. Are you actually up to date? Yes, 4.0.21. All right, so I'm going to open up the release notes here. just so that you can see what is shared today. So this is, like I showed before, the video over on YouTube is the same one here in the forums. This is community.ui.com. If you're not familiar with it, I do recommend it. They have all of the release notes here, as well as discussions and tech specs and support and things like that. So a bunch of things in here to highlight. Scalability is pretty big. Enhanced encoding for the G4, G5, and AI cameras, which is for improved live streaming and recording retention efficacy. Recording resolution can now be downscaled per camera to 2K or HD to free up NVR camera storage capacity. You can read through all of this. You don't need me to read it live on the air. But just some of the other highlights here, they are talking about the interspace integration. I actually haven't used it that much because I design all of my networks in their design tool, which is Design Center. What I really need is for them to say, okay, you've got it in Design Center, now instantly flip it over into this site, and that would just save me from having to recreate everything and allow me to have it all in one space. And I do think that both Design Center and Interspace are fantastic, very helpful tools for designing your networks and setting all that up. Camera shortcuts, this is insanely cool. I'm going to try and show that off when I get a couple of cameras adopted in here. But effectively, what you're doing is you're able to put a little camera icon on the video stream, and then if you see one person walking from the camera that they're in away from the view, you click that little shortcut and it jumps to the next camera, which is, if you've set it up correctly, the next camera that'll see where that person goes to, and you can just follow them around your property by hitting those shortcuts. So that is really clever, great integration, genius. Very, very happy to see that. So good job, Ubiquiti. Area of interest, vehicle of interest, good things there. G4 PTZ, we're not going to talk about because I mean, I don't have one, and they're like $8,000 or something. No, they're very expensive. I'm actually curious how expensive they are because I just said that they're $8,000 and I don't think that they are. They're $1,800. I knew there was an 8 in there. Almost had it. All right, so here's what that looks like on the website. If you're curious and you have $1,800 to burn and you're looking for a PTZ, you can go and pick that up. But over on, where were we? Back over here. Sorry for jumping around so much. Then you've got a bunch of other improvements, which we'll go through in the interface, bug fixes, and then people here asking about their questions for this. You can see there's 6 pages of posts, even though they just started highlighting this. It was posted 4 days ago. And you'll often see if there's a problem with it, this is a good place to find it because these are the most engaged folks, and they're usually the ones that as soon as it's available, they go in and they install it. And if there's a problem with it, they're going to be lighting up this forum like you can't imagine. All screaming, oh, it bricked my this, it didn't work, at this, at that, a problem. All of a sudden, this switch isn't working anymore, and so on and so forth. So you can go through and look at those comments. But for the most part, people are talking about customizations and notifications and how they handle things. I updated to 4.0 because I heard that my stream would be smoother and less choppy. However, the opposite has happened since the update. So you can see that like sometimes there are going to be cases where it doesn't work as well as it's supposed to. Now, that doesn't mean that it's true for everybody on everybody's platform. Could be he's running it on a different device or hosting a different way than you are or than we are, and it may work just fine for us. So, all right, enough talking about that. Let's get back into the actual interface itself, because you've never seen it before, and you're the only one who's on here really talking to me, so I'm going to customize this more for you. So I hope you appreciate that. All right, here's the interface. Not a whole lot to see because there's no camera connected to it. So I am going to grab, where's that cable that I had before? Here it is. I'm going to grab a cable, and it occurs to me that I really need a switch in this setup. Oh, crap. I may have just screwed up my whole live stream because I didn't include the switch. How does this work? Switch downstream. See, this is why you need to have the Ubiquiti stuff for the rest of it. I have it in my stack. I guess I can just plug this in over there and let's see what happens. I could adopt the extra switch that I have, but I didn't really want to do that. So let's see if I plug this into my network rack. What's going to happen when it adopts? Is it going to be able to see it on the network? Because it is technically on that network. Let's see. Let's give that camera some time to boot up, and let's see what happens. I may have to kill this stream and start over with a full stack in here. which I can do. Is just going to take a lot longer to do because I don't have, what do you call it? Do I have any dumb switches? Is another way that I could do that. Theoretically, yeah. So the way that you would normally configure this in the rack is that you would have, oh, okay, it did work. Crisis averted. It's able to see it because it's on the network. I'm not sure how this is going to work for hot staging. I should have done with the actual UDM Pro that I am managing that network with. But in the interest of this video and this live stream, I will continue to adopt it through here, and hopefully it'll all just be managed on here, which I believe that's how it works. But sometimes these things surprise you. All right. When you are adopting a camera, onto the next heading. When you're adopting a camera, you're going to see that it's going to show up in here as well as on the phone. But because I'm already sharing this screen with you, it's probably best that I just continue doing it here. So I'm going to hit add, and it's reloading. See, this is what I was afraid of. This is all of the rest of the cameras that are on my network. Now, thankfully, because I only have the G5 turrets for this project, all I have to do is look for the G5 turrets, and I can ignore all the rest of these things. But you can see I've got an AI Pro, I've got a G4 doorbell, a bunch of the wireless ones. These are Wi-Fi cameras, by the way, if you're interested. I'm going to click to adopt because that should be adopting to this device and not to the rest of the network. Okay, introducing smart detection. This is something that shows up when you are setting up a new device. You're only going to see this, once when you agree that you do want it to do this, but this is some of the better features here. The ability to detect a person and do facial recognition if you have the cameras that can do it. Vehicle detection and can do model and license plate recognition, again, if you have the AI cameras that can do that. And then more detections like your audio and events and so on. And it's gotten really good at being able to pick up things like dogs and cars and different models and colors and things like that. So I always enable smart detection, but I guess if you're in a facility that doesn't need that or is concerned about that, then you don't want to feed it to the AI. You don't have to. Some people don't like AI these days. All right, so just a quick tour around the interface. You have dashboard up here. Then you have unified devices over here. Then you have playback, which we'll get into once the camera is up and running. You have detections, which we'll get into once the camera is up and running. System log, which you don't really end up looking at very often. And then settings. We can just pop into settings while that's working. And in here, you can do time format, 12 or 24 hours, change your temperature to Fahrenheit or Celsius, depending where you are. When you want it to check device updates, cloud drive account we'll get to in a moment, but that's for backing up clips to a cloud drive account. Heat map is a way to show on your cameras where people have been, where the most active areas on those cameras are. Low latency, which you definitely do want so that you are able to see almost instantly when something happens on your network, especially if you have a video wall up like I do. And recovery code, which really you're only going to need if you are moving a camera from one NVR system to another. So let's say I wanted to get rid of this, and I realized that it was way overkill, and I don't need a UNVR Pro. I just need an NVR, UNVR, Ubiquiti NVR. So you would need the recovery code to be able to adopt the cameras that are already managed by another console. And the reason why you can, or where you can see that this is in play, is already over here. Whoops. Yes, let's save those changes. All of these devices that are on my network, if I wanted to, or on my NVR rather, if I wanted to switch them to this NVR, I would need that recovery code from my NVR to be able to adopt them here. So this one is updating now, and let's go back into the settings. That's on the system side. Then back on top here, you have the recording manager, and this is where you have where you have your settings for how and which cameras you want to use and what you want to do with them. Updated, fantastic. So let's just jump into here. You've got these little panels that open on the sides. You have when to record. So here you go. This is your number one request. And, like I said, me and Schnorkel over here, this is like a one-on-one session. But if you want to do continuous recording, always record, you're going to be able to select both of these. Events only is only when it detects a motion event, a sound event, etc. Then you've got create AI events, which again, with the devices that are able to do AI stuff. And then you can choose the detection types that you want to have in here. If you want to get alerted when an animal walks in front of your camera or just a person or a vehicle, you can click on that. And then audio detections, baby crying, smoke alarm detectors, carbon monoxide detectors, and how long you want it to record before and after the detection. One thing I also go in and change on the global settings is what overlay information you want on the cameras. All of my cameras, I have time and camera name. Quite frankly, sorry, Ubiquiti, I don't need to advertise for you. I already love you very, very much, and so therefore I don't need your logo on my streams, and so I'm going to take that off. But time and camera name is very helpful. Now, if you want to get really nerdy and you really want to see the data on the stream of what quality you're getting, you can do bitrate, and that'll show you all of the information for what's being processed and streaming over the camera. But that's just honestly more annoying than it's worth for cameras that you're going to have on all the time. So you don't need those. And then recording retention is auto, but essentially what that's going to do is your oldest recordings are deleted, which will make room for new ones. That's how systems normally work. Or you can do custom if you need to say that they need to be, a certain period of time. They need to be. You need to have the storage for that. Otherwise, your oldest recordings will still be deleted to make room for the new ones. So that's how that works. Let's apply those changes. So many options. Yes, so many options. I could do probably 100 videos on these, and I probably will. Let's jump back to the dashboard now that this camera is up and running. I should probably unbox and plug in those other cameras as well. But we have a dashboard. On that camera, the reason why it looks like it's in a deep fog at sea is because I left the paper that's in front of the camera that's in front of the lens on the lens, because I still have to install these, and I want to make sure that that continues to be plugged in and connected. Now, I want to protect it. That's what I was trying to say there. Now, for all of these cameras, I'm going to do that, and I'm just going to plug a bunch of these in at the same time. I probably should grab a couple extra cables, which... Again, I should have done beforehand, but I didn't think about this. Think all the way through here. Oh, I have cables down there I can use. Fine. But just to continue here, take a look around, and the things that you see on here, there's a lot of information. This is the new dashboard. And when you do have multiple cameras on here, which is why I want to get more cameras plugged in so that you can see, you'll be able to have a video wall directly on here where you'll have 3, 5, 7, 9, whatever amount of cameras that are on this screen, and you'll be able to see them all in, I would say real time, but it's near real time because they are, what do you call it? Like I said, you've got that partial second latency. Oh, come on. One of these drawers over here has cables in it. I'm trying to do this without whacking the camera here. Dongles, accessories, cables. Okay. Where are all my network cables? Bear with me. Here we go. I recently redid my storage, so I expanded it, and I have less storage directly here in the studio and more of it in the rest of my garage, which is has like big IKEA cabinets and stuff. So I'm able to actually store more stuff out there. All right, let's get these plugged in so that you can see what I mean about having the other streams on here, the other cameras on here. Come on. And I'm just plugging these into a USB Pro, which is a 24-port Ubiquiti switch, which is PoE. And the reason why PoE is important is because, well, the power has to come from somewhere, and PoE is power over Ethernet, which means you just need your one Ethernet cable. Try that again. Cable that connects to your switch and then connects to your camera. That provides both power and data. Excuse me. All right, let's get these out and rocking. So again, I'm just popping out the camera because I only want to adopt it. I don't want to, fully install it or fully unpack it yet. And to give you a idea of what this looks like, that just pops in there, and then I plug this into the server, or the rack rather. I was going to say the server rack. No servers really in this setup. And that's one of the great things about Ubiquiti is there's no additional licensing either. All right, ready to add turret G5. What I mean by no additional licensing is with some of the bigger players, some of the other cameras, you have to pay for a license for the camera. And that comes with additional benefits, such as 24-hour, 24-hour warranty. So if you have an issue with a camera of one of the other bigger players, bigger companies, they'll send you a new camera in 24 hours and you just send the other one back and they fix it or chuck it or whatever. That being said, those perks are expensive, and with Ubiquiti, I find their cameras are so affordable that it's worth having an extra camera on the shelf and taking the time to do their RMA process, which is where you can return a device that's malfunctioning. And I find that to be more effective overall because you just have much more control over the system, and you end up paying so much more money with licensing if you go with one of the other companies. So, different companies, different needs, different requirements. Everybody has the ones that they love. I think that Ubiquiti is the best kind of all-around option for this. How did I get this out? There we go. All right, let's get some more of these unboxed here. And I don't have to do all of these on the stream because that'll just take forever. But just to give you an idea of, once these are updated online, you'll be able to see the dashboard and the interface. And also, if you looked at the Ubiquiti video, where they show this off and talk about it. There's a bunch of different videos online that show this off, and I'm sure that the guys that I mentioned before, Crosstalk and Mac Telecom and others, are all going to do videos showing this off as well. But I figured I had all this gear, so I may as well do this as a live stream for everybody. It's kind of weird being on this end of the camera and not having a person to talk to directly. So, Schnorkel, I appreciate you and all of your comments, making it much easier for me to have somebody to talk to and more conversation to make, as opposed to just, I'm plugging this in. Normally, this would be a time lapse because I'm not that interesting. All right. Let's see. That should be enough cameras. Let's see. Now, if we really want to get frisky, we could throw a second hard drive in there for fun. Which, again, you just pull this bay out, take off the sticker. Since I've got the hard drives, I may as well But again, these are just the Western Digital purple drives. You can buy them from Ubiquiti, sometimes at a discount, or you can buy them from, Amazon or wherever. Yes, adopt, update, etc. Whoa. What happened there? That was funky. There we go. All right, and again, I just line it up on here and slot it right in and slide it into the machine. I'm doing this live so that I can show you what happens when you add a drive. So this is back to the dashboard, and you'll notice over here you've got one lit slot, and it says 8 terabytes, so it sees it. And it says at risk because it's not RAID. It's only recording to the one drive. That one drive dies, you're screwed. Now, it doesn't always happen that drives die. Usually they don't, but it could happen. They do recommend adding one more 8 terabyte disk for the basic storage protection, which is known as a RAID array. So in a moment here, we're probably going to see this show up. There's a light on the front here that's blinking away, so it's pretty happy it's coming online. And what I was talking about before about having multiple cameras on the screen here is exactly as you see here. So you're going to be able to have, and I guess I could take the stickers off those just so that you can see what's on here. But essentially, you'll have your feeds on these, and you can decide how you want to view this. You can change your quality. So right now it's in high quality, which is great because we're local. But let's say you're viewing it on not such a great connection, either on your side or on the side of the where this is installed. You could have it low quality or even automatic. I usually like to be high quality because, well, I pay for high quality cameras and I want to be able to see it. So I keep it in high quality there. You can also full screen. You can full, blow this up. I won't call it full screen because it's not full screen, but it's full to this window. Each individual camera, if you want to zoom into them, and obviously it's hard to visualize that because they're blocked right now. The other option is to go proper full screen, which will, just take this to the full screen of the window, which I'm broadcasting. So it's just showing you, oh no, that actually does come through full screen. Fun. And also one more thing to highlight here is you can see that these have the UniFi logo on them and this one does not. And that's because we only changed the settings that we changed in that one camera. We didn't change them in the global settings. Before we head over to the global settings for me to show you that, you can see over here our second hard drive lit up. no problems. And now we have the check mark. You're using our recommended hard drive model, which ensures optimal storage reliability and performance. And it says usable storage after RAID formatting is going to be 8 terabytes. You can change this. You can say, no, you know what? I want to live on the edge. I've got 2 hard drives in there. I want to use all of my storage that I paid for. So go ahead and fill them up. And you can get more information about that over here as well. And you can even get some system performance information down here. But over on the camera capacity, you can see that right now we are hardly using it, which makes sense because there's only 3 cameras that are actually adopted by this. So let's jump over to settings. And in the, let me see here. If we select all of these, then we can choose to get rid of the logo and instead have camera name and time. So I thought there was a way to do this as a system-wide. Let me see. One sec, my wife is calling me. There was a way to do a global setting. I don't remember exactly where it is because they did just change things around. So I'll have to get back to you on that. And then alerts is also for when you have this on your phone, you're going to want push notification settings, and you're going to be able to get a notification when there's an issue or something is connected or requires an update. And you can say which of these you want to be a push notification to your phone and select those like that. Or you can even have them emailed to you. Detections is how it's going to show you what detections what detections the cameras pick up on. So if you want to be notified every time a camera sees motion, which can be a lot if you have it in a busy area, then you're going to want to click on this bell icon over here and then apply changes. You can also say when to send it. So you could say, I only want to get detected from motion at night, or vice versa, only want to get detected from motion during the day. That's where you'll be able to control that. So I can do a more comprehensive deep dive on a lot of this at another time. But essentially, wanted to go through here and probably should do another stream with the full network setup, which would be like a 3-hour stream because this alone has been keeping us busy. Let's see your comment here. Really like that video wall functionality. Yeah, so this is new. And let me just pull up the video that they showed off here so that you can get an idea of what this looks like. Oh, I think this NVR that's really loud for you. Sorry. That's probably extremely loud. I apologize. This is Ubiquiti's video on YouTube. And there we go. So you can see all of their cameras are on here, and I imagine they have much more cameras, obviously. This is just their test site. I actually don't know where this is. I've been wondering about that, but I haven't seen any indication as to where it actually is located. But essentially, this is what it's going to look like. And just like how on our tab over here, when you click on one of these cameras, you see it's got the cursor turns into the arrows, and that's so that you can zoom into it. To just this tile, and then you can zoom back out if you just wanted to peek at what was going on there. Some other things that you can do in here, and we didn't really look into at all, but you've got sound if you want to hear what's being said. So that'll actually probably be able to hear my voice, but I don't want to create any kind of a loop there, so I'm not going to do that. You've also got the name on here. And then this icon takes you directly to the timeline. Now, you're not going to be able to see much or anything at all because I have the sticker on top of it. Apologies for that again. But you are able to scroll through the timeline here, and you can even see when it was updated and what it did through all of those when it started recording and so on. And you can do detections, and you can zoom in and out on the timeline. And with this version 4.0, this is now much smoother. It used to be choppy, it used to take a little while to load. Now it is like buttery smooth, and I'm really happy with that. And then down here, you can choose which camera you want to be on. So you can see that these are the newer cameras, and so therefore they don't have as much footage over here. And then there's another one to adopt. What else can I show you over here? The settings for the individual cameras themselves. You can go in and you can get the information if you want the MAC address, the IP address, frame rate, etc. You can also record. You can also choose on the individual devices, which settings you want. So if you want to change up that you do want detection on this or don't want detection on this, or specifically the encoding, specifically the different settings for capture. You can do all that individually here, as well as editing motion zones, smart detection zones, crossing lines. I think that's new, actually, the ability to add a boundary that if somebody goes over it, then it starts recording, even though it detected motion before then. It's like a partial motion detection because it only detects after they've entered the frame that you want. And that's really helpful when you have a camera pointing at, say, a storefront. Or a front door, and you want to see if somebody comes on the front steps or comes through the front door. You only want to record when they come through the door, as opposed to just seeing them through the window on the other side of the door or something along those lines. Personally, I like all my footage all the time, record everything in as high quality as possible. But that's, me, and that's how I operate. Not everybody's the same way. The last thing that I will draw attention to over here is this encoding is brand new. This just came out with this version, and this is what do you call it? If you click on enhanced, it says here that you're able to improve the video quality while reducing the storage size and optimizing video streaming. I don't know how they do that, but this is something that's brand new, and quite frankly, definitely welcome, because you're going to be able to have more footage on the same amount of storage space. So who wouldn't want that? I'm going to have to end this soon and go pick my wife up from the office, because we only have one car, and I needed it today to go and pick all this stuff up. Well, not this, but the cables for the install that I'm doing tomorrow. So if you have any other questions, Snurkle, feel free to drop them now. This has already been over an hour. Oh, goodness. Time flies when you're having fun. Let me just reply to her. Okay, so I think that's it. I'm not seeing any other comments from you here, so I'm going to end this out here. Drop your comments on here, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, please. And if you want to see more videos like this, like I said, this is my first one I've ever done, and I promise to be more prepared and set up for the next one. I actually want to get Ubiquiti makes a really easy rack that you can install stuff on, which I will show you what that looks like. In the accessories here, they have this toolless rack that they build. What the hell is it? Toolless. This mini rack, so it'll be really easy for showing off stuff like this on, on the desk in front of me here, and also I have to go build my other desk so that I can have a better setup here and more space back here to do all of this. So I hope you enjoyed, and let me know what you want to see. Oh yes, you can hit me up on Twitter with any more questions, and already subscribed. Awesome. Share with your friends. I'm relatively new, relatively small compared to the other big players in this space, but I started taking this seriously and doing this full-time in January. Up until now, it's been basically a lot of Google stuff with a little bit Ubiquiti sprinkled in there. Now that the Google events are winding down and mostly done, now I'm ramping up on the Ubiquiti side, so there's gonna be a lot more Ubiquiti content coming. So thank you for coming. Thank you for hanging out with me, Snurkle, and anybody else who watches this. Again, let me know what you have questions-wise, and I will be happy to do my best to answer them. And now I have to figure out how to end the stream. 3, 2, 1. Have a good day. 3, 2, 1.